Hello, everyone. Welcome into the next episode of Between the Hedges. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for tuning in, whether it's now or in the future. We are very glad to be here tonight. Glad all of us are safe from this Hurricane Helene that went through last night. I know that got pretty nasty for a lot of you out there, so I hope y'all are all safe and doing okay. I'm glad to see both of y'all tonight. How are y'all?
Be back home.
I'm
Dodging
good.
hurricanes down in Florida, and it's been a long day getting back home today, but yeah, we're doing good. Ready for another good week of college football, weekend of college football.
Yes, sir.
Doing
Matt,
good as well. Had to work the past couple days, so here we are.
Looks like you got
Mm,
something on your lip. What's that?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
probably
okay.
a little something, something.
hey, just saving it for later. And you got a
Oh,
little something going on there. You want to tell everybody what you
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 know,
you did a little switch up on us.
yeah, I had some corporate people show up Wednesday, so I decided to, look good for them for a little bit.
Nice, nice. Well, like it. Um, well, we are now less than 24 hours away from a very big game. So just, very big game. I'll start by just saying this about the Georgia Alabama game kicking off in Tuscaloosa tomorrow night. Will be about, I don't know, 15, 30 minutes in, whatever, by the time they finally get everything's going tomorrow night. But I've been looking forward to this ever since the SEC championship game. And I think Kirby has as well. And I'm hoping that this young team is firing on all cylinders tomorrow night. We've had, the better part of 2 weeks to prepare. Um, and with the week off, Kirby is, I don't know, I saw a stat where he's like 21-0 off of a bye or something in his tenure. Somebody will have to check that for me, but I think I saw that. So that's pretty good if I don't say so myself. So obviously the line's been coming down, as you'll see um, later with our picks, but because we opened as like a 3.5 point favorite, I think. So it's getting tighter and tighter. It's basically a pick 'em now. So we'll see how it turns out, right?
100%. I was actually talking to a few customers at work today about this game, and they're excited about it, but I told them what's benefiting us, I think, is we have more depth, I think. Um, so I think that is what is going to win us the game is depth.
That's a good point. People are questioning Alabama's depth a little bit because we're used to Alabama being like Georgia is now, 3 and 4 deep. And I think they're going to be missing some pieces, and they've had, you know, some exit in the portal during the offseason. So they're
Yep.
saying not as quite as deep of an Alabama team, but their offense, man, they've been firing on all cylinders. So definitely
Yep.
got to slow Milrow and the offense down.
Yeah, I agree.
Dad, what do you think? I know you've had a long day traveling back from Florida, but
One of the key matchups that I think is going to be whether or not Beck and our receivers include the running backs catching passes out of the backfield with that, and the tight ends if they can take advantage of some of the mismatches that there might be um, with the secondary for Alabama. Um, their secondary is pretty young, if I'm not mistaken. They lost uh, three, two or three guys to the pros, and then Caleb Downs transferred to Ohio State, who was a starter for them last year. So it's a totally revamped secondary, and their schedule so far this year, I don't believe they've really been tested. So I'm I'm hoping Beck is going to have a good enough game and that he's going to be on his A game, you know, and that the receivers and all that are going to step up to the plate and be ready to take on the challenge and show out a little bit, because I think that's where we can take advantage of their defense a little bit. And then once they are concerned about helping out with some of their younger secondary members, um, then you can just start feeding it a steady diet of the running game to complement it, going from there, and then you get them off balance, and they don't know what's coming. So I think it's going to be a good game. These games usually are. Um, they're usually slugfests. I mean, there's a reason why these are two of the best teams in the country, because the rosters that they built and the coaching that they have and the prep that they do. And I mean, all the go down the whole list. I mean, it's it's neck and neck. Everything you measure against each other, it's neck and neck. So I don't think one team or the other is going to blow the other out. I don't see that happening. That's the reason why Vegas has it down to like 1.5 point game or pick 'em game or whatever, depending on who you look at.
Yeah,
But I think it's going to be a slugfest, and I think it's going to be probably a tighter, lower scoring game,
oh, you
and
do.
it may end up being the last one to have ball wins. Field goal late wins it or something along those lines.
Yeah, maybe
Yep.
so. I I do think um so you think maybe lower scoring. I think, I mean the last matchup was 27-24. Um
And that's what I'm
I'll
talking about when I say lower scoring. Something along that may be the top end of what the scores get to. It could be a 17-13 game or a 21-20 game or something like that even. But I don't foresee this turning into a track meet where it's like 48-42 or something along those lines.
No. I don't either. I was thinking something like low 30s, to be honest, because I think both offenses will be able to move the ball and kind of do what they want to do. Because I'm not quite sure that Alabama, I don't think they've been tested yet in general, but especially the defense. I saw they're allowing like 8 points per game. Yeah, against who, So let's see. And, Carson Beck hasn't looked great yet, but he also hasn't made any mistakes yet either. And we're 3-0. So, I think this is the game where we kind of start hitting our stride um, offensively. And I think Beck shows why he's top quarterback in this class tomorrow night.
That's what I'm hoping for as well. Um, yeah.
I just hope that to add to that, I hope that Milrow doesn't get loose kind of like he did in the SEC championship. That kind of
Right.
worries me. But
What you were just saying, you think Alabama's going to be able to move the ball and score on that will on us?
not at will. No, but their offense does look good and it's scary good at times. Um, and like I was just saying about Jalen Milrow, he's a game changer. So we saw that in the SEC championship game. If we can't contain him, he causes our defense problems, and been true all the way back to Nick Saban having trouble with running quarterbacks. Um, the only difference is Milrow can throw a deep ball on a dime. So he's not just a traditional runner. He can scramble and then throw a deep ball. So I think I don't think the offenses will move it at will, but I think the offenses will look probably a little better than the defense at first, and then the defenses are going to adjust. So, Matthew,
Yeah, I think, I mean, if it could go either way, really, um, I would, I'm hoping it's our way, but I wouldn't be upset if we did lose because that would be a good team to lose to. But we would have to win out, I would think, because if we had two losses, I don't know how we would do in the playoff after that. But we'll see how tomorrow goes. With it being as close of a spread as it is, um, I'm hoping we have that edge. And like Dad said, whoever has the ball last, I think will win. I agree with that.
well, and I think the difference will be to Dad's point for questioning me about the offense. I think our defense is the one that will get a crucial stop. Like I trust our defense to get the stop, to get back the ball back, and if it's hey, let's go down the field, let's get a field goal, let's win this game. I think we can do that. The interesting one last thing that I'm going to say, and if y'all can add something else if you want to, but we're Georgia's 1-5 in the last 6 games against Alabama. So these have been tit for tat, like you said, Dad, back and forth, very razor thin margins. But what hasn't been even is obviously the results. So the win and loss column. Kirby only beat Nick one time. Now I'll take the one that he beat him in,
One
because
when
it
it
was
mattered.
yeah, he won one in the national championship against him for us to break through. So I'll take that every day. I'll take it the rest of my life. But it's time to start turning that number around for Kirby. It's time for Georgia to plant the flag of we're the premier team in the SEC. This is our conference. Kirby Smart's the best coach in the country. We've got the best roster. This is it, and we're not afraid of Alabama anymore. So,
And I think I've said this before on previous shows that Georgia's going to have every chance this season to prove where they are. Because you got to go to Alabama, you got to go to Texas, you got to go to Ole Miss,
Which I'm
you got to
going.
play Tennessee. That's a home game, but you got to play Tennessee. So, if we come through this schedule unscathed and undefeated at the end of the season, I mean, bring on anybody else you want to bring on. We're going to win it.
Bring it
That's
on,
that's
baby.
gonna be the way it is. Um, so yeah, I mean we've got our plate in front of us, and we just got to start eating.
gotta let the big dogs eat.
Whoa.
Well, um, yeah, I'm very excited. So I don't know what y'all are doing tomorrow, but I'm gonna be grilling some yummy steak beforehand and just gonna get settled in right before kickoff and enjoy this one. So and amongst the other games, and I think tomorrow's got a really good slate of games. We're
Mhm.
really starting to get into the meat of the schedule where we've got some very nice conference matchups. So, without further ado, let's get into the picks. Our Friday night pick'em contest. Y'all let me know when you can see that.
I
Good.
got it.
All right. So, um, Dad, why don't you go first? You can take us through your pick. It looks like your picks for the remainder of the games, but just so as y'all can see, we all three picked Georgia. So basically, with the spread being as close as it is at 1.5, um, we all think
You
that
see what I
Georgia.
see on here, right? We
What?
all think we all pick the same, except for you picking Kentucky. That's the only difference.
Yep.
Every other game, we're all the same, except for you pick Kentucky with the points instead of Ole Miss. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy to me.
And we don't know this, you know, uh, ahead of time. It's not like we sit in a room together and decide who do you want to pick on this game, who do you want to pick on this game, who do you want to pick on that game. We do them individually and send them in, and this is how it turned out. That's crazy.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I just noticed that too. That's a great point.
So we're
It kind of makes me a little um
well, we're all either going to have a great week. Me and Matthew are going to go 6-0 or 0-6 together,
right.
or we're all going to really do good or really do bad.
Yep, there's no in between. It's legit good, bad. There's nothing else.
Oh man.
Well, so ultimately we think Georgia gets the win. I say 34-31. What do you say, Dad?
Like I told you, I think it's going to be like a 28-24, a 20-17, 21-20 type game, something like that. Um, I, I just think it's going to be a slugfest, and I think the offenses will make plays. I think the defenses will make plays, and I mean it's going to be like every other time we match up against Alabama. You're going to be sitting on the edge of your seat. You're going to be, you know, probably screaming at the TV a little bit, and cheering out loud and standing up, and hoot and holler and stuff. So, I mean, I'm just ready for a good game. Uh, I'm confident we'll win. I don't see any reason why we won't. I mean, we've lost two games in the last 3 years. We got as many national championships as we do losses in the last three seasons.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true.
We've got a we've got a lot of streaks on the line too tomorrow. So
I mean, screw the streaks. I mean that's fun down the line in the future. But to say, hey, they won 77 games in a row or whatever it was. But don't worry about that now. Just win to this game that you got this week. Just win it and move on to the next one.
yeah, Matthew, you got a score prediction real quick?
I'll say 31-28.
And anybody watching, if you're listening to this, put your prediction for this Georgia Alabama game in the comments. I'd like to see what anybody else out there thinks. If we're on target with what you think, or if you think somebody's going to get blown out or whatever, put it in the
And say
chat.
who wins.
Let's see who wins. Let's pick the game and tell us what the score is. Who you think is going to win and by what score it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I just want to say too, I'm looking at ESPN right now. The spread is down to one.
It's
So
going
it's
to be
just getting even closer.
just because they say it's going to be a 1 point game doesn't mean it's going to be.
Right. Right.
We
There's
need
just
turnovers. We need to create turnovers. That'll be key, huge. We need to stop the run and make Milrow a passing quarterback. and we need to take advantage of their young, inexperienced secondary,
100%.
and then establish a running game to go with that.
Yeah,
All those
100%.
things happen. We're going to come home with a W.
I agree. Y'all have anything else to add, or we want to move on to the next
Let's
one?
go on.
All right.
Wrong.
So the next one, as you can see on your screen, Ole Miss um, on at home against Kentucky. You see, my two counterparts are taking the Rebels. I'll take Kentucky here. I think they cover. Um, I just sheerly based off of how tough they played Georgia. I think they're a, they're going to be a tough, grinded out team. If they're going to be in the game, it's going to be close. You know, they're not. I don't see Kentucky getting blown out a lot anymore after the South Carolina game. That was a mix of just all the worst things for Kentucky, I feel like. And I can I'll take the points, and I think that they can keep it within three scores here.
See, I see this totally opposite. Totally opposite. I don't think they're going to be able to stay on the field with Ole Miss at home. At in Miss, Kentucky's going on the road. Um, and I just think they've got too much firepower.
So you think offensively, Ole Miss just blows them out?
And the difference this season with Ole Miss is they've got uh, better dudes up front along the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. If this was the game last year, I would have been with you taking Kentucky on the road at 17 and a half points. But this is this season, and I think Ole Miss is taking a step up from last season as far as their roster and their team, and I think they're going to show it Saturday against Kentucky at home.
All right, fair enough. Matthew, obviously you agree somewhat with Dad. You think Ole Miss can stretch this to a three-score game and pull away?
I think so, just because um, Kentucky's secondary might have some trouble with their receivers because
They
um,
will.
Ole Miss has some fast jokers at receiver. And then also they have a um, what's his name? Dart.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think he's going to do good against Kentucky's defense. I know Georgia couldn't really do that much, but I feel like that was just a fluke game for us, as we've talked about in the past. So I think Old Miss will run away with this just because it's at home. It's hard to play at that field. Now I'm
Well, I
kind
think
of,
they'll run away with it just because they've got the better team.
and that too. I
They've
mean,
got the better
I think,
quarterback. They got the better receivers. They got the better. I think they got the better defense. I mean, I just don't. I don't see any of the matchups really with where Kentucky wins the matchup.
You think
yeah,
Ole Miss has a better defense?
Yeah,
I guess we'll see. It is a noon kickoff tomorrow, so it's
we'll find out
also
early.
yeah. I mean, we'll know early in the day how that game's going. That's kind of also I wanted to add why I thought, you know, road teams can get up and get ready. Home team can come out kind of sluggish for those early games. So, I mean,
yeah.
that's why I think Kentucky can keep it within 18 points here. So,
Even if Ole Miss comes out and they're kind of sleepwalking a little bit in the first quarter, once they
I'll
get it
come
cranked
out.
up, once they get cranked up, Kentucky's not going to be able to hang with them. I just don't see it.
If they do
I
the
don't.
hurry up offense, mm,
Yeah. All right.
Well, moving right along to the Kansas State Oklahoma State game. As y'all can see on the screen here, I mean we're the same on the remaining four games here. So
It's gonna be a boring show the rest of the game because we're all on the same side of every game.
let's make it a little interesting. Let's just kind of do this on the fly because I just thought of it. One, we'll just say one reason why we didn't pick the other team that we could have picked.
All right. I'll go first on this one. Then Kansas State's favored by 5.5 against Oklahoma State. Um, the reason why I didn't pick Oklahoma State is because they suck, and I'm tired of picking them and them losing games for me. So I went with Kansas State this time because I learned my lesson.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Arkansas.
Plus, it's a home game for Kansas State.
Yeah.
I think Kansas State wants to get it. Wasn't it Kansas State that got blown out by BYU last weekend?
Hmm.
Or was that Kansas? I can't remember if it was Kansas or Kansas State. It was Kansas State, wasn't it?
Kansas
I think
That was
State.
a
so.
big surprise that BYU upset them. I think they want to get that bad taste out of their mouth. I think they're going to be, chomping at the bit to play well at home and, you know, stake their claim to, what is it, Big 12 supremacy there. So, but yeah, I didn't pick Oklahoma State because I'm trying to get money.
Matthew.
Um, they struggled against Arkansas, so I feel like Kansas State is not Arkansas, and that's why I picked Kansas State over Oklahoma State because Oklahoma State, you're not that guy, pal.
Yeah, I'm kind of with that, so I'll give you two because I'll say I'm half of my reason wasn't, I got burned by Oklahoma State against Arkansas earlier in this season, and so I'm kind of tired of picking them. I don't think they're going to be Big 12 supremacy anymore. And also, I mean, it's like where's Waldo with their running back and their offensive line that was supposed to
Yeah,
be so
they did
good.
not live up to the hype this season so far. They have not.
Yeah. So that'll be my reasons for not picking Kansas State, other than it's a home game. This is another noon kickoff though, so it could be a sluggish start for Kansas State. But for the reason you said, Dad, I think they're gonna have something to prove, and I don't want to be on the wrong side of um, that spread with it only being 5.5 if Kansas State decides to make a statement tomorrow. So, um, now going to Notre Dame versus Louisville.
I'll
Um,
go first on this one too, if you want me to.
yeah, go right ahead.
Well, Notre Dame's at home. They're favored by 6.5 points against Louisville. The reason why I didn't pick Notre Dame, that's what you want, right?
Yeah,
Because they're, I'm not gonna say that. I didn't pick Notre Dame because their offense struggles against good defenses, and Louisville has a good defense. They have a tough time throwing the ball. So to me, if your offense is at a disadvantage, I don't feel comfortable taking you where you're giving up points. So I took Louisville. I think Louisville's got a stout defense. I think they've got a good team. I think they will be in the conversation down the line for the ACC championship. Um, I don't know if they'll make it, but I think they're definitely going to be in the mix. But in this case, I just decided to take the near touchdown and go with I go with the thought that I think Louisville is going to be able to sustain that offense enough to stay in the game to where they may win it outright. And I'll be honest, I kind of hope they do.
Yeah. Matthew, you can go. I'll go last on this one.
I just hate Notre Dame. I'm never gonna pick them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say because they're effing Notre Dame. That's why I took Louisville.
So yeah, we're not a show to watch if you want to hear us sing the praises of Notre Dame, because I've always thought that they're the most overrated team in the country every single year. With that being said, it's probably more so true this season because they look. Dad was being nice when he said they can't move the ball on offense. They really suck on offense right now.
So
I
sloppy.
mean,
And
it,
yeah, I'm with that too. Louisville's defense is already good, and if you present them with a an offense like that, I think that they just feast on them and get the outright win. And I'll be pulling for them too, because like Matthew said, I don't like Notre Dame either. So that is why I went with Louisville and why I didn't go with Notre Dame. Do y'all have anything else to add to this one?
no.
No. All right, moving right along to Oklahoma, who we saw match up against Tennessee last week. They're going on the road to Auburn this week. As you can see, a 1.5 point favorite against
On the road.
on the road at Auburn. Now,
Well,
why?
I
That's
will
a
say
mess up.
that that's an old line. I took these lines when I send them to you guys. They're as of Tuesday, since that's changed since Tuesday. Auburn's now the favorite actually in this game. If you pull it up today, but we're going by what we go by on Tuesday. That's what the line was. That's what all these numbers were as of Tuesday. So that's what we go by. Um, in full disclosure, since I emailed this to you, Micah, I flip flopped and chose Auburn, but I'm going to stick with what you have on the screen right now as Oklahoma because it's such a close pick 'em game. Basically, I mean, I think Auburn's favored by only like 1 point. So, in all truth, it's basically a pick 'em game. So, uh, if you want to know why I didn't pick Auburn to begin with, it's because they're stinking Auburn, and they've pretty much stunk up every game they've played in this season. And their quarterback situation is abysmal. The way the coach is handling the quarterback situation there is abysmal.
Awful.
And I have zero confidence that Auburn can function properly on offense. Now, the reason you say, well, then why did you flip flop and you were going to pick Auburn if I had updated the slide soon enough when I emailed it to you? Because Oklahoma came out of that Tennessee game banged up. I saw uh, their injury report just what was it, yesterday or whatever when they released it. They got a laundry list of people that are out for this game. So I was like, well, maybe that tilts it, and maybe that's why the line moved to where Auburn's now the favorite too, because they've got so many key players out of this game. But we'll stick with Oklahoma. Welcome to the SEC. Winning a road game is not going to be easy. It never is. Hopefully, they can put enough together, and hopefully, their defense can show up again like they showed up for the most part against Tennessee. I was impressed in the Tennessee Oklahoma game with Oklahoma's defense. I think they did a pretty dang good job, against that offense. If they play that well against Auburn, they'll win easily because Auburn can't do. I mean, they're like uh, the bad news Bears out there playing.
Yeah. Uh, And the real question is, so you're saying you were gonna flip. When was this flip gonna happen?
No, I did it. I updated it on my computer, the slide that I did. I sent you, whenever I sent you the email, I got to doing some more research and I was like, then I found out that, Oklahoma had all these injuries and stuff like that. And I was like, well, maybe I should just try and go with Auburn one more time.
So
But
was
it's okay. I'll stick with Oklahoma. Feel better about Oklahoma, to be honest.
yeah,
I really do. I think their coach is a better coach. I think if he can get their quarterback situation figured out, I think they'll be able to do enough to beat Auburn because Auburn just they run around like right now like they don't have a clue how to play.
yeah. No, that's right. And I guess more of my question was, would it have been in time for like the cutoff? Because we have a cutoff for changing picks.
I can't remember if it was before that or not. So I'm not worried about it to be honest with you. It's just one
Okay.
game.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm with you. I have no faith in Auburn. I have no faith in their quarterback. I have no faith with how they're handling the quarterback situation. It's very interesting that the line changed. I think that's solely due to the number of players that are out for Oklahoma. But I think Oklahoma's quarterback is better. And obviously, like you said, their coach is better, in my opinion. Their defense played lights out against Tennessee. That Tennessee team was scoring 1 million points coming in, and they held them to 25. So, um, Auburn play. I mean, if Oklahoma plays like that, they'll run Auburn off the field tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. Auburn, a freaking trash can is better than Auburn's football team right now. Like, I'm surprised Hugh Freeze has a freaking job after everything that he has said in press conferences and everything. Um, it's just Auburn is in shambles right now, and it's hard to even try to have the thought of picking them anytime for the rest of the season because of what is happening. So that's why I went for Oklahoma because their previous game with Tennessee, like you said, they held them pretty well. So if they play like that again, they're gonna run Auburn to the ground.
Yeah. And I mean, I know we're all in a lot of agreement tonight, and that doesn't make it very interesting, but it's just interesting that we all kind of can just see that, and we're not coaches. We didn't play at this level, and we're not like experts, but it's pretty obvious. So now moving on to the game that I asked to be on the slate this week, and I'm glad it was, but I was hoping that y'all might have a different opinion here than me because I wanted this one to be on here so that I could pick Illinois and win a bigger spread game because I've struggled with these so far.
What you thought we would go with Penn State?
I thought one of you would take the bait and go with Penn State. Yeah.
I was going back and forth, not gonna lie. But my my past times of picking bigger spreads did not work well, so I stuck with the team with that I think is gonna cover the spread. So
Well, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I will just point out though, it's the opposite of what y'all are saying Ole Miss will do with Kentucky, right? Because we got two 17.5 point spreads on this week.
Well,
And
who's better, Ole Miss or Penn State?
Ole
I mean,
Miss,
Who's the better team?
well,
Ole Miss.
that's to be determined. We don't
Who's
know
right
that
now?
yet.
Right now, we're talking about this weekend's game. This weekend's games. If Ole Miss was playing Penn State, who's going to win that game?
Ole Miss.
Yeah, probably Ole
Didn't
Miss.
we just see that game last? year at the bowl game? Didn't they match up in a bowl game? Ole Miss Penn State, wasn't it here in the Peach Bowl?
I think so. Let
Yeah,
me
and Ole
see.
Miss killed them.
Let me see.
Now, granted, they're not the same teams that they were last bowl game, but Ole Miss has gotten, like I said earlier, they've to me they've taken a step up, and I honestly think they will continue, just play at that level throughout the season. That's the reason why it's coming down the line when we got to go there to play them. I don't see it going like it did for us last year. Number one, it's going to be on the road instead of at home. And number two, Ole Miss has, I think, improved their roster, and it's going to make it a more stout contest. But to me, you're talking about, well, you're taking the points, with Illinois, but you're giving them up against Kentucky. I think Ole Miss is the better team out of
The
those.
the game that they had, which was December 30th of last year, Ole Miss beat Penn State 38-25.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of close, closer than this
Uh,
spread.
But see, that was a bowl
But
game that neither one of
but
those teams were interested in playing, and they still beat them
but
by 13 points. And
yeah, Ole Miss has a better team right now than Penn State does.
yeah, but what I'm talking about is this year and this weekend. If Ole Miss was playing Penn State, just say it's a neutral field, who are you picking straight up? No points. Who are you picking straight up?
Straight up, I'll pick Ole Miss, but
Okay.
if you give me a point spread, I'd pick Penn State.
Well, it depends on what the point spread is. If it
Get,
was 3 points, you're not going to take Penn State.
mm, if it was
If it's
seven,
23 points, yeah, you might take Penn State. But Ole
I'd
Miss still
probably
might beat Penn State by 23 points. Who knows?
yeah. I mean,
I mean,
I'd have to think about it if it was a similar spread to this right here. If it was 17 and a half, I might consider taking Penn State right now.
well, it would depend to where that game is, but I just think overall roster against roster, Ole Miss is better than Penn State.
Oh yeah.
So that's the reason why I think they'll cover the 17 and a half against a Kentucky team that I don't think is as good as they have been in the past. It's just going to Kentucky for Georgia and playing up there for some reason. Those games are like in Twilight Zone games. It's always a close, hard fought game when we play up there. It never fails. But Penn State against Illinois is undefeated right now so far this year, right?
Yeah.
They're
Hmm.
they're they're kicking it a little bit and playing with some confidence, and they get a chance to go on the road and make some noise. I think they're going to be up for this game. I think Penn State probably wins the game, but I don't think they blow Illinois out. Is the deal. At least that's the way I see it.
I think Illinois wins.
I think Illinois has a good chance of upsetting and winning the game outright. But so if I think there's any chance that Illinois can actually win the game, why wouldn't I take Illinois plus 17 and a half points?
Yeah. Oh, and that's why I'm picking them too because I think they win outright. So
See,
give me
going back
this.
to your comparison against Kentucky and Ole Miss, do you think there's any way Kentucky's actually going to win the game
I mean, crazier things have
outright?
happened.
Well, I mean, crazy things can happen, but honestly, I don't see that in a realistic scenario that Kentucky's actually going to win that game. I mean, that's one of the key things you got to think about when you're talking about these games, at least in my opinion, my thought process is, do I think the underdog actually has a chance to win?
Yeah.
If I think they might have a chance to win, then it's easy for me to just take them in the extra points on top.
Yeah, that I mean that's a good point. I that's how I look at it too. I guess my point in even bringing all this up was, just a similar point spread, and it's an intra-conference, game, and we're basically saying that Kentucky's probably worse than Illinois then by all these comparisons. And I don't think so. I think if Kentucky and Illinois matched up, it'd be a pretty even game right now. So, um, also, I think Ole
Kentucky
Miss
and
and Penn.
Illinois could be pretty even. That when we were talking about Ole Miss and Penn State, I don't think they're even.
Well, I think it goes both ways. I think if you mix up the matchup and Kentucky's playing Illinois, Ole Miss plays Penn State, they're both pretty evenly matched games, I think. And that's why I take both underdogs.
There you go. Well, we should have a good, fun time watching it and seeing it happen in front of our faces tomorrow. Then, and we'll have all the answers by the end of the evening.
Yeah.
Bring me my money.
What money?
My 6-0.
If you go 6-0, guess what?
Utah too.
So do I.
If you go 6-0, then I go 5-1. So I mean, it's just gonna be a dang good week for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that happens.
If not, it could be a really bad week for all of us. 1-5-0-6-0-6.
I mean, we could be right on three of these games and wrong on three of them. I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean, you still could go 3-3.
Nah, I'm going for 6-0.
Oh, that's the hope every week, right?
No.
Nobody's done better than 4-2, right?
Yeah.
I can tell
No,
you.
four
Hang
and
on,
two
I
is
got
the
it in front of
best.
my. I got it right in front of my face here. Let's see. Yeah, I went 4-2 the second week. We've done it 3 weeks, so this is the fourth week of picks that we've done.
Yeah,
And
week 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Week 2, week 3, week 4. And this is week 5.
so yeah, 4-2 is the best. I did that one time. There's been several 3-3 weeks. One, two, three, four, five 3-3 weeks so far between all of us.
So nobody's done 5-1 or better. So Matthew,
Nope.
I would just say the first thing I want to do is be 4-2, then maybe 5-1, then 6-0.
Oh,
See,
6-0.
it's
Steps.
No, go
and
big or
and
go
only
home.
one person has gone 1-5 this season so far.
And that's Micah.
That
It's
would be
only one
me.
of those.
That's okay. I'd like to see everybody else try to pick early season games too. Like it's
We picked the
hard.
games the same week.
Yeah, I know. I'm
We
saying
picked
y'all
those same games. The week you went 1-5, both of us went 3-3.
okay, so you won two more games. You had a decent week, and I was two games away from the same week. But what I'm saying
No,
is
no, no,
the
no, 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 no,
the
no, no, no,
two
no, no. I'm not letting you get away with that.
there's people out there that think, oh, this would be easy to pick 6 games a week and, have a winning record. No, try it. Seriously.
Well, it's obviously not after 3 weeks. I'm the only one with a winning record out of
Yeah,
the three of us.
that's kind of my point. We've got a lot of
Yeah.
data now that shows that this is hard to do. Me and Matthew
I
both have
mean,
losing
I'm 10
records.
and I'm just barely got a winning record. I'm 10-8. Out of the
I'm
18
barely,
games
I
we've
barely
picked,
have a losing record.
you're 8-10, right?
There's a couple games and I would be 9-9 or 10-8.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, baby.
No, 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 no.
The picks don't lie. And
Yeah.
Micah,
Mm-hmm.
you were so much closer to going 0-6 than you were 3-3 that week.
Mm,
You were so, but the only game you won that week was that Arkansas Oklahoma State game where Arkansas kicked the absolute crap out of Oklahoma State up and down that
And
field
should have
and ended
lost.
up farting in their pants and blowing it at the end. Otherwise, you would have gone.
Absolute chart.
You got to finish the game.
Otherwise, you
Absolute
would have gone
chart.
0-6 the
Six.
opening week.
Yeah,
So
and
anyway, you just admit you were this close to going 0-6, and it was a lot closer than you actually making it to 3-3 that week.
Yep. Just admit it.
Let's just get ready to have some fun tomorrow. I'm excited. It's fun when we have big games.
Big games.
We've got a big game tomorrow. So hopefully our guys, I have faith in Kirby. He knows how to prepare this team. He's shown that. He's earned that, you know, respect that he knows how to get his guys to perform in big games. You don't win 2 national championships by not knowing how to do that. So he'll have us ready, and it's just be a matter of uh, whether or not our guys execute the plan that they put in place.
well, I wish we were all watching it together tomorrow, but um, that it is what it is.
Maybe we do a live during the game like this.
I don't know because I gotta be able to I gotta pay attention tomorrow. I mean, if we were talking about
You can pay attention. You can watch the game. You can be on live at the same time.
uh,
That would be
and
cool.
yeah,
Um,
it would be cool, but I don't know if all of our reactions would be cool to be on live.
I can put the game on right here behind me and watch it while we're going live. Anyway, just a
That's
thought. Maybe it's something we can do later on down the road if y'all are up for it.
do it
we
Just
for
let me know.
the Texas game.
Anyway,
well, I had a lot of fun tonight. I hope you all did. Um, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Like we've said, it's gonna be fun. I wish we were all watching it together, but I also am glad that I will have an opportunity to just kind of, if it does go sideways, just to be mad on my own by myself. Not anticipating that because I think this is the turning point for our season, and I think we're gonna start turning it on and looking like the team to beat. So, but thank y'all for joining me tonight. I just want to thank everyone for watching. If you watched uh, live, and if you watch in the future, again, we appreciate all the support. We definitely want to see more comments. We'll respond to them live when we see them, or if you comment after the fact, we'll open the next show and we'll talk about it. So, um, I do I do love to see that. I love to see the support that we're getting. So thank you guys. Please share with 5 of your friends, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And everyone have a good night. And as always, go
go
dogs.
dogs.
Oh, dogs.